welcome to this week's weekly Pan-African News Roundup on the Kenta Business Journal. Here we serve you with all the major news headlines across Africa and the African diaspora. My name is Rahel Akosua-Rido-Okuku.
In today's headlines, Gabon President Ali Bongo cries to foreign allies for help from military coup officers. Zimbabwe opposition has called for mass protests as elections catastrophe continues. And the finale of the maiden edition of Miss Natural Beauty pageant has occurred in Accra. Now the news in detail. Nigeria's state oil firm NNPC said on Friday that the country pumps 1.67 million barrels of oil and condensate per day, compared with just under a million barrels a month ago due to security improvements in the producing Niger Delta region. Africa's top oil producer recorded an average daily oil output of 1.22 million barrels per day in the second quarter of 2023. Large-scale oil theft from pipelines and vaults have overwhelmed the country's output in recent years, damaging Nigeria's finances and leaving Tinubu with one of his biggest challenges. Tinubu, who has embarked on Nigeria's boldest reforms in decades, scrapped a costly subsidy on petrol that cost the country $10 billion last year. The central bank under Tinubu has also lifted foreign exchange trading restrictions. Military officers in Gabon said they would seized power on Wednesday, placing President Ali Bongo under house arrest and naming a new leader after the Central African State Election Body announced Bongo had won a third term. Saying they represented the armed forces, the officers declared on television that the election results were cancelled, borders closed and state institutions dissolved after a tense vote that was set to extend the Bongo family's more than half-century in power. Army generals voted to appoint General Bryce Ingema, former head of the presidential guard, to lead the transition. Meanwhile, from detention in his residence, Bongo appealed in a video statement to foreign allies, imploring them to speak out on his and his family's behalf, saying he did not know what was happening. The African Union suspended Gabon's membership on Thursday as a response to a coup staged by a group of high-ranking Gabonese military officers earlier this week. The Union suspended Gabon's participation in all AU activities, organs and institutions until the restoration of constitutional order in the country. The military intervention came days after allegations of fraud in the country's elections last Saturday, which elected President Ali Bongo for a third term. Gabon is the latest country in Africa to experience a military takeover after members of Niger's military seized power late last month. Zimbabwe's main opposition party, the Citizens Coalition for Change, has called for mass protests after the incumbent president, Emerson Mnangagwa, was declared as winner of the presidential elections held last week. With time seemingly running out before Emerson is officially sworn in, opposition leader Nelson Chamisa has called on citizens to embark on a massive protest, citing the elections were not held in a free and fair environment. He hopes that this call will raise the alarm for the international community to heed to their plight. A Russian delegation held talks with Burkina Faso's interim president Ibrahim Traoré on Thursday. The meeting included discussions on possible military cooperation, said the Burkinabe presidency in a statement. It said the visit, led by Russian Deputy Defense Minister Yunusbek Yakurov, was a follow-up talks between Traoré and Russian President Vladimir Putin at the Russia-Africa Summit in St. Petersburg in July. The visit could be a further sign that Moscow is seeking to shore up its influence in Africa in the wake of the death of their mercenary boss who, through the Wagner Group, built up a network of interest across several African countries and beyond. Nigerian labor unions plan a warning strike next week ahead of an approaching indefinite action on September 21 in protest at the cost of living after the government scrapped a costly petrol subsidy, the Nigerian Labour Congress said on Friday. The NLC, which represents millions of workers across most sectors of Africa's largest economy, including parts of the oil industry, said next week's action will demonstrate their readiness for the indefinite action due to start on September 21. Unions had been on strike a month ago over the cost of living, but suspended their action following an offer of talks with the government. But those talks did not result in concessions sufficient to placate organized labor. President Bola Tinubu, who has embarked on Nigeria's boldest reforms in decades, has been under pressure from unions to offer relief to millions of households and small businesses after he scrapped the subsidy that kept petrol prices cheap but cost the government $10 billion last year. While the reforms have been seen positively by some investors, unions say they led to soaring costs at a time when Nigerians are already grappling with the highest inflation in almost 2 decades. The maiden finale of the Miss Natural Beauty pageant has occurred at the Four Sutherland Drama Studio in Accra on the theme Embracing Your True Worth. The night saw all 11 contestants in their full glamour, style, eloquence, confidence, and portrayal of undiluted African beauty. This maiden edition saw the crowning of Miss Obnewa Adekum as the winner of the pageant, Miss Suzy Selassie Keha as the first runner-up, and Miss Trudy Duodu as the second runner-up of the night. Organizers of the pageant, the Kente Business Journal, says they are on a mission to promote African beauty in its pure form and thus encourage the African woman to embrace their authentic natural beauty.
And that'll be all for this week's weekly Pan-African News Roundup on the Kente Business Journal. Kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the notification bell to stay updated always. You can also follow us on our social media platforms. Catch you next weekend.
Thank you very much for watching this video. Please do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel Kente Business Journal TV and press the notification bell to stay updated always.